So we will start the August 26, 2026 school board meeting, and welcome to our guests. What would you roll? All right, so in attendance, we have Director Farley, Director Penegas, Director Veach, myself, Director Dane, and Dr. Geestlin, and I'd like to make a motion to excuse Director Ledoux. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Director Ledoux and his family are on a vacation before school starts. And then we have two school student representatives, and are these going to be here for this year as well? 2026,
continuing on, yes.
Okay.
We have others as well,
Hernandez and Elijah Seiler. And so, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And then Dr. Geestlin will read the land acknowledgement.
Yes, thank you.
That's the horse.
All right. The Still-Gomish land acknowledgement. We honor the first peoples of these lands by acknowledging that the area in which we gather is within the traditional territory of the Still-Gomish tribe of Indians. The Still-Gomish people have inhabited these lands and waters since time immemorial, and their descendants have remained in this territory to this day. The Still-Gomish people have continued to practice the traditional ways of their ancestors of fishing, hunting, and gathering. The Still-Gomish tribe has had these lands and cultural traditions passed on to them by their ancestors who believe that everything has a spirit and that they are the caretakers of these lands and waters.
Thank you. And I went a little out of order. I did the roll call, but we're going to do board comments, and we'll go through the board, and then I'll ask the two of you to give us a little summary of your summer and what you're excited about coming up. So, Director Farley.
I wanted to give true thanks and congratulate our administrative staff on the wonderful opening they had this morning. I thought it was really a neat experience and got to see a few of the classes, and I think you kids will be excited because I think the teachers are going to do a fine job.
That's great.
Well, I totally agree with what Director Farley said. And the positive energy was just, it was really, well, it was fun to see old faces and new faces for me, but yeah, the positive energy, I really appreciated just in chatting with people. Just to bring an update, the Community Coalition had their back to school resource fair celebration last week, and there was 40 resource tables and activities there for families and to enjoy. We had 700 children that came through. Now, some of these were homeschool, some of them were from not the Granite Falls School District, but they were able to participate, but they didn't get supplies. But anyway, we had 705 students or children that came through, and then with the families, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think there was like 485, adults. So you put it all together. There was, with the people that had the resource tables, the people attending, there was 1,000 people on that playground, and it was hot, but it was a lot of fun.
It was over 1,600 hot dogs.
And then I wanted to just comment that I was able to go. I went over to the middle school for about half an hour this week to meet with Principal Maynard Michael and is she assistant Principal Wade, and it just, again, the positive energy and the way they were setting things up and to just making kids feel like they belong right from the beginning. So that, anyway, it was a fun week. Oh, forgot shoes. We did shoes last night. And we had 85 students that came through and got brand spanking new shoes, which was really fun to see. So now I'm done.
Director Beach.
So I also had the pleasure of attending School of Rock this morning. It was a nice break since these guys reminded me I was the only one that had to go back to work when we were done. But I appreciated the time and the effort. And you had mentioned that, you know, food for that many people is similar to a wedding reception. And when I saw how many staff and were all there, I thought, no, this is a little bit like that. So well done to all that cooked and contributed and organized, and it's a lot. So thank you. I don't know who all the people are, but whether you provided it or whether you were there to eat it, well done by everyone. I saw a little bit this morning about the work in progress this summer. Heat. The plan is to have heat in our schools consistently through the winter, which is something that literally it has been years. Like the high school, you're either roasting or freezing. Different schools, like we've really, and there's a lot of staff that you've probably seen working on this throughout the different schools. Heat, air conditioning is coming for many of these schools, which that's new and different as well. So excited about that. And the space that is being built up in the high school for the community clinic, which provides health, dental, and mental health opportunities that when you are a half an hour drive from Lake Stevens, right, it can, I mean, it's hard to get an appointment anywhere. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing how this all works out. I mean, really, and I had some questions because it was all in the consent agenda, but that's for later. And then I just wanted to follow up because a couple weeks ago, or maybe has it really been a month since we were here and the parents were here for band? Mm-hmm. Being a marching band parent, I feel like I need to just say that we'll see, you know, on tonight's agenda is the policy for field trips. And we already talked about it's unpaused. That's been out. That's like so last month's news, but we were able to get the marching band scheduled together. We have the policy for first and second reading, so we can get it in place before school starts, which is wonderful. And there's a procedure that will go with it that it sounds like everybody has participated in. So I appreciate the parents who came and advocated for their students and the students who came and advocated for themselves. And we got together, we worked together and pulled this together so that marching band competition can happen this fall. So that's some good news. It's all good news today.
Okay, so I'll wrap up for the directors and go and comment about School of Rock. We all got to attend today. The opening was amazing. I saw so much energy in the staff that were there attending. I hope that they appreciated the structure. If anybody that is either online or in the room didn't know what the agenda was, all of the teachers attended class as if they were in high school. So they moved through the hallways. They had to be in class on time, paying attention. Hopefully they all paid attention. But again, great kickoff. I attended 3 classroom sessions and listened to instruction, and it was amazing. Well done, and well done to the staff. They, you know, putting that together, bringing it together, getting everybody there, keeping their attention. There was some really good learning going on, which I appreciate. That's what we expect starting in September for all our students. So great job. I'm going to come over, and Alicia, do you have any comments for the board?
I think the School of Rock was a big hit with the teachers and staff members. I heard positive things. I look forward to what next month brings us with sports, band for those, and the other extracurriculars.
Okay, and you're wearing cleats, so what sport are you?
I'm playing soccer.
Excellent. Elijah?
Volunteering at the back to school event was very fun. I was helping at the food bank, so Other than that, not really that much is going on this August.
You ready?
Ready to go back to school, week and a half away. My birthday passed
Happy birthday.
Congratulations, happy birthday.
on the 14th. Other than that, nothing much.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your comments. As far as the next item on the agenda is Levy Sports Field Improvement Capital Projects Committee update. And there is not a lot to update. We'll meet again here in September for the committees. I will tell you that progress in the schools is amazing. A lot of work being done. Unfortunately, we've had to keep the teachers out for quite a while. Teachers that wanted to be in the rooms, setting up for this year, but with their patience, our contractors were in there getting the heating systems up and running. I got to go in and tour Monte Cristo. Amazing, absolutely amazing. And so when Director Farley and I will meet with the committees next month, hopefully we'll have soil samples so we can see where we're going to move forward on our fields this winter. So looking forward to that. All right. And so any questions before we move on to superintendent's report?
We're hoping to get Did you already take the soil samples or you gotta dig a hole?
They're taking them any day. I'm not sure,
No, wait for results.
we have not heard about this, if they've taken them yet, but they're gonna take them any day.
Okay, and that is to determine if it's
we can
good
work-
enough to work.
Work during the winter.
Okay,
Okay. All right, Dr. Kiesling.
This might be a silly question, but I was gone for a while too. And so when is the next fields meeting and when's the next capital projects meeting?
Second Tuesday, the levy one is the first Tuesday of September, and then the fields one is the second Tuesday.
Thank you.
So is that second, first or next?
And then,
First and eighth.
so the night before school starts? And then the next Tuesday. All right.
You're up.
Thank you, Dan. Then you go to that next slide. Perfect. So yes, we had our School of Rock, which is our back to school time with our staff. Tomorrow's a building day. Today was the district day. A huge thank you again to everybody who organized and worked so diligently to pull that off. I think the thing that was so incredibly powerful was coming together and kind of setting the stage, and our students spoke to our whole certificated staff, and then there was some classified staff there as well. Alyssa was one of our students who spoke. It's powerful. We honor student voice, and we say that student voice matters because we have student reps, we have opportunities at Tiger Cabinet and these other opportunities, and then it's important for our staff to hear what works for students and to recognize adults in our system that go above and beyond, that are truly bridge builders. So there was a few staff members that said that's one of the most powerful things that they've seen and heard, because, you know, either if they were recognized or others too. And I talked to Mr. King, who's our construction and manufacturing teacher, and this is his second year. And I said, well, it's pretty good that 2 years in a row, a student has given you basically a compliment saying, gosh, you made such a difference. And he goes, yeah, it just, you pause and go, oh, I didn't realize that I made that big of an impact. And that's what I want all of our certificated staff to know, like, we make a difference in the lives of kids every single day, and that's why we do what we do. So great to hear our students, powerful learning. You know, some of the things are things that we have to do, right? Like I was talking with Jen Harmon, our director of HR, and some of those things, those are teachings that need to be done every year. And you know, Jen tries to make it exciting, but sometimes, you know, it's hard. So every district across America has to do those things. But there was some choice. They had some options to do some electives. And I think I want to say thank you to all of the staff members who stepped up and taught, because they have been meeting since June and coming together and working out this summer. It's a big ask. Tani taught 6 periods today, all by herself. And in addition to, all the things that Tom does on the backside. And so thank you to those staff members who said, I'm gonna step in front of our staff, and I'm going to share whatever information and knowledge I have. And I think our staff walked away with some really good information. The last part of the day, our staff came back together and shared some of their learnings with each other. And we also talked a little bit about technology, and I know the board has a resolution in front of them tonight. But we talked about our direction with technology and a more human-centered approach to our teaching and an emphasis on that. So really grateful to everyone. So good to have it done. And also so that we move on now, because we're just excited to have kids back. So that was School of Rock. And a quick update on summer construction. So Marcia, you can jump in here. I'll do a little preamble, and then you can knock it out of the park. So much work going on this summer, and we have a few updates that just happened today that we want to make sure that the board's aware of. So our school-based health center, that some of the board members alluded to, it was great today because we had everybody at the high school and we could say it's right there. And it was so interesting because we've been talking about it for so long. And then I had some staff go, I didn't realize it's right there in the high school. Like, kids are going to be able to walk right there and go get, healthcare or dental care or behavioral, health services and those kind of things. So super excited about that. And of course, all of the things that we've kept the board up to speed on HVAC systems and heating and cooling, to Tina's point. One of the pictures there is that road into the state. It makes it look really long there, Marshall. It is long. That road into the stadium, and the speed bumps are ordered, and we're going to be putting those in. There's going to be 4 of them. Nikolai and Marshall worked on. Marshall and I walked it and looked at the spacing, and then Nikolai went out too to give his expertise. But that is a thoroughfare. We've talked about the safety of that, especially seems like in the spring when people are leaving and different things. So we just want to make sure that people slow down, and there's a lot of pedestrians going back and forth. There's a lot of Monte Cristo kids who cross over in that area. So safety first, right? So lots of projects going on. I'm gonna let Marshall update you a little bit on some recent things, and then we'll go forward.
So I guess we've been talking about it, kind of been going school by school. So last Friday, Mountain Way finished all of their boiler work and Victaulic fitting repairs. They replaced somewhere in the neighborhood of 87 Victaulic fittings, and those are these couplers that are about this big around. They're fairly expensive. They're built to last a lifetime now, and they just help bridge 2 pieces of pipe together. Monday, they filled the system. Today, they added pressure to the system, and they're looking to identify any leaks. They found 1 leak in a Victaulic fitting at Mountain Way that they repaired, and they found 2 leaks that were further down the line for some valves that are failing. So they're going to replace the 2 valves that are failing tomorrow. Drain the system today. They're going to replace those 2 valves that are failing. They're going to repressurize the system on Friday, and that should be it. Boiler should be ready to go. Monte Cristo, same thing. They finished up with replacing all the Victaulic fittings. Monte Cristo, although looks the same from the outside, looks the same from the inside, the engineering was very different. They learned some things, I guess, after building Mountain Way, and lo and behold, 287 Victaulic fittings were needed at Monte Cristo. Big job replacing them all. I mean, it's cutting them out of the pipe because they were just failing. The gaskets were failing, and then putting them in, sealing them. They did that. They pressurized it, or they filled it again yesterday. They increased the pressure today. They found a couple of valves that were failing. They replaced those valves already at Monte Cristo. The boilers are in place. Electrical was wiring in the boilers this week. They need to get an inspection done on them, but they expect to be done with those. All the work will be limited to the boiler room going forward, and they expect to be completely done within about 10 days, and those will be ready to go also. Next step for both of those schools is going to be, we started the planning for the cooling. Big project, the cooling. They have to actually install chillers outside by where the garbage cans are. They're gonna fence it in, put chillers there with like a stone fence. And they have to run cold water piping through all the wings of the buildings, and it has to be an inflow and an outflow. And then they have to put new actuators in to turn the cold water into cold air. And so they'll be doing new coils in. So again, building's probably gonna be closed all of next summer. They're gonna start working on anything they can do outside of the building in February. Like they can do the chiller, they can do the water lines, they can do all those things outside of the building to get a head start in February, starting in February. And then buildings will probably be closed all summer again while they run all that piping. There's not a ton of room, so they're gonna have to maybe remove parts of the false ceiling in order to run the piping. And when they do that, they're gonna replace all the actuators and control units that control the flow of air into each classroom. So we'll be able to better control that in the future, and we're also gonna look at control systems. That is Mountain Way in Monte Cristo. Here at Crossroads and the preschool this summer, we moved Crossroads all upstairs. That involved adding sinks, adding water to all the classrooms. It was plumbed for water, whatever reason, I think we talked about this before, they just didn't have sinks. So they all have sinks now. We moved the whole science lab up here, including all the specialty equipment like the eye wash station, all that is now upstairs. Downstairs is all preschool. There are 2 additional preschool classrooms occupied right now. One of them, we added a bathroom to it. We built a bathroom in the classroom to make it easier for the littles. We also added a staff bathroom kind of by where the gym is now, so there's some extra staff bathrooms downstairs. And we are going to be adding, in the very near future, 2 electric vehicle charging stations right out here in the secured area so that we can charge our the vans that we're gonna be using for the transitions program.
And other things.
The high school,
Air conditioning.
air conditioning, yep. And I'll skip over the middle school, but the high school, air conditioning repairs are complete. We also had to make some repairs on the district office and this side of the building, this side of preschool, air conditioning. When they were working on the air conditioning over there, they discovered an oil leak in the air conditioning up here. So rather than wait for it to fail, let's just fix it. So we fixed it. So this whole building has operational air conditioning now. How do you feel about that?
Elijah, you happy?
Okay, you seem pretty mellow. It's a big deal.
Hot summers.
It's a big deal. Dana and I walked over there, was it Friday?
Mhm.
And said, oh my gosh, this is so nice.
It was, yeah.
So it's really nice to have air conditioning. And Carol had her event down there yesterday.
We were all, yes, so thankful. It was like, come on, it's cool in
It's
here.
so nice. Been working on all the heating repairs at the middle school. There's a part that is still on the boat from Germany coming over for the steam building. For whatever reason, we used only German components for the heating system at the steam building. So there's a component coming over from Germany, should be here, I think, next week. The unit that feeds the locker rooms is repaired. There's one more unit that feeds the auxiliary gym, kind of wrestling area, and a classroom over there. Those parts are supposed to be here next week, and so that'll be repaired. And so everything will be functioning as close to as good as new as possible. You know, the units there are weird. They're old. They're hard to access, but replacing them was probably not the right choice. Getting them to operate for another 5 years is probably a better decision. High school, we have the health center has the framing is done. They are drywalling this week. They are on target to be done probably somewhere towards the end of September, with then taking care of punch items until about the first week of October, and maybe a ribbon cutting somewhere around that first 5 to 8 days of October, depending upon schedules. Speed bumps are ordered. Some more signage is ordered. The fields committee, we're waiting on some soil samples to decide if we can work over the winter. We've decided to think about the fields as the JV baseball field, the field behind the tennis courts, and the tennis courts as maybe one big project, and So we're doing soil samples for both of those fields, and we're gonna design something for those 3 areas as our first phase. And hopefully, people are fairly confident that we'll be able to work over the winter. They think the soil's gonna be fine, but we need to get the soil samples back, then we need to do some engineering and some surveying and all that stuff. And we have an architect now. We have, the architect will come, as soon as we understand what we can do, he's gonna come speak with the Fields Committee and get some feedback from the Fields Committee, and then bring back some designs.
And we have some Millig help with that too.
We do have some Millig help. Millig, our partnership with Millig is, I mean, we've done so much this summer. There's no chance we could have ever done this all ourselves. I mean, I can't believe how much we've done this summer. And we're probably, 20%, 15% of the way through all the stuff that we're planning on doing over the next 3 to 4 years. There's HVAC, there's cooling at the 3 buildings. The high school's gonna be a huge project too. The piping that exists for the cold water probably isn't thick enough to handle, the diameter isn't big enough to handle the amount of water that needs to be pushed. So we're gonna have to repipe the high school for chilled water. We're gonna do LED lighting in the high school and the 2 elementary schools for clean building compliance and for a better environment. We're gonna do new building controls so that we can have better fine control of temperature sets and lighting in every room. And we're going to have probably another wave of fields that we're gonna be able to address. And then there's some buffer there that if things work out as planned, there's gonna be some other projects that we can roll out, like maybe a couple of roof problems that we're having that we could replace some roofs, something like that, some siding maybe, some of these other bigger problems. But we've got these main ones targeted first, and we're working to schedule a study session with the board and Millig to kind of go over kind of a 4-year plan that we're developing in partnership. That's it.
Any questions, Marcia?
I'm sure I missed a million things, but there's been a lot going on.
Are bands, when are the bands going to be delivered?
So there's a resolution in the board packet to allow the transfer of the debt services money and then once I will make that, if you guys approve the resolution, I will make that transfer tomorrow. I'll make a call to the company and place the order.
Excellent.
It's ought to be like about 2 weeks for delivery.
So I have a question, but I don't think now is the time, but I'm
Okay.
not sure. It is a question about some of the papers that were in the consent agenda that have to do with the new medical center. So do I
Sure.
wait and move that up into the discussion?
I feel like we're on topic, it's on topic.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, really, I guess explain it like I'm 5.
Okay.
When it comes
Because
to,
I had to read it and try to explain to myself like I'm 5, so.
so, yeah, I mean, I've read it and I'm looking at the deed of trust and it's between Community Health and the State Department of Commerce. And it says $546,110. So what does that, are they paying for 10 years? It's for 10 years.
In a nutshell, these 3 documents kind of are, they work kind of together as one bigger document. And I think to get a really good understanding, you gotta look at the 3 documents together.
I did, but
I know.
I'm using
There's
a
a lot
phone a
of legal-
friend.
There's a lot of legalese in it, but one of the documents is defining the space that is the health center
Right.
in legal terms, like the physical address of it, then the location of it within the physical address. So one of it is defining what that actually is. One of them is essentially releasing the district from any liability associated with the money that the Commerce Department is giving to the health center to build the health center, so that we are not responsible at any, we are not accountable to that. Our property is not collateral to that. It's nothing that negatively impacts the school district. It's all between the Commerce Department and the Community Health Center. And then there's a piece that talks about a covenant of 10 years. There's a piece about easements of things like utilities and stuff like that, where there's these utilities are flowing into the building. You can't bring in new utility lines, so we do an easement to allow that leased entity to use our utilities. There's a piece where what happens if the community health center fails to exist after 5 years, there's no liability on the district. There's a piece about, what else is there? There's the $547,000, whatever it is, that's the amount of the grant that was given to the community health center to build this. And that is saying that there's no other lien holders on our property that have access to that piece of the property. It is owned free and clear. That's what the deed piece is talking about. So a lot of legal stuff, but it protecting the district from any liability, defining the space, giving a term of 10 years is the kind of the term that is kind of the break-even figure, if you will. And then there's some clauses in there about if we want to part ways, how we do that, all those things.
There's a blurb in the, that we added to the consent agenda too, as just kind of a summary of everything that Marshall just.
It's one paragraph, but it's not as deep as what I just said, but it's probably in total, it's probably 45 pages.
Yeah.
Of a bunch of whereases and what if and except for and.
Thank you for boiling that down, and I did see that, but also I just wanted you to kind of say out loud, because if anyone looks, I don't want them to think we're doing something sneaky with $500,000.
Yeah.
It's not sneaky, it's not our $500,000.
Exactly.
It's a grant from the state of Washington to community health and to build the thing that they built, right? It's not something we're financing, et cetera, et
I
cetera.
think that's a great point. We don't even touch the money.
Right,
The money went to the community health center. The community health center went out to bid for contractors. Community health center is managing the project.
And I would also say that these are the exact agreements that Everett School District did and Edmond School District did when they built their school-based health centers. They entered into these exact same agreements because they have to.
yeah.
It protects them a little bit too, that the space is dedicated. We're not next year saying, oh, we're gonna use the space for something else. We want them to know that we're committed as well.
Absolutely. We said we were committed to transparency for finances, so I just wanted to say thank you for voting for that levy, and we're trying to be transparent, even if it's kind of tough to read.
That was a lot. I was like, oh my
45
gosh,
pages of
a lot of legal
whereases.
stuff.
Yeah, the directions where it was like
I know.
in the east of the west of the north, and I was like, stop.
And then it breaks even that up, but not including this little
Yeah.
piece.
Reading the directions, like, stop it. Anyway, thank you, I appreciate
Yeah.
it. I didn't know if I had to take it out of the consent agenda.
I think he talked about it, so it's perfect.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool,
Explain.
thank you. Now we all know.
No, I was just thankful that
just-
Tina brought that up.
This is kind of silly, but I'm curious, ordered speed bumps?
You order speed bumps, so they are hard rubber speed bumps that are reflective, and they get secured into the asphalt.
I was curious if it was gonna be, asphalt or cement or,
Hard rubber.
awesome.
There you go. Moving on, I have Emily coming up to talk a little bit about, this is just some preliminary data around our SBA, and the board has asked for raw data. It is not certified yet. We did want you to take a minute to look at this. Emily will explain the crux of it. I would like to have, and I'll talk about this at the end of my superintendent report, but I'd like to have on September 9th, have a study session prior. We'll have a better idea of our SBA data and be able to have some work with the board on that. Student outcomes are, of course, something that we are focusing on, and we want to see trajectories and those kind of things. So we want to put this data in front of you and let you have some time with it. You have it both in printout, and then you have it in the slides. So if we could, Emily will explain how it's organized. We won't spend a ton of time on it tonight. But then when we come back on September 9th, we can dive into it. Emily.
One of the things that we've heard, and good evening, nice to see you again. One of the things that we've heard from you, and we serve at the pleasure of the school board of the Granite Falls School District, is also your desire for transparency. And we certainly in cabinet and Dr. Giesland and we are very, very much committed to that, even when the results are mixed or neutral or, and here it comes. So one of the reasons why I gave you printouts was because that's a whole bunch of stuff, especially after a long day. I am very excited, actually, and I'm not lying, to spend some time with you in a study session to really look at this really deeply. You are all very wonderful, very intelligent people. You can read the numbers in front of you. What I would say is how to read this is on the left-hand side of that first slide, you see Monte Cristo, and you see 24, 25, 25, 26, and I know that all of you are interested in how we're performing against the state, so you guys can see that. I'd like to remind you, one, that all of the numbers that you'll see are preliminary. The state has not finalized any of the scores. It doesn't mean that they would change significantly, but to be really clear, they're not done yet. In the ELA section on Monte Cristo, you'll see 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade ELA. A reminder as you read this is that the 3rd graders who took the 25-26 ELA SBA that show 37%, that 37% is representative of level 3 and 4. The state has turned a corner, either right or left, depending on how you would judge that, but they now count level 3 and 4 together. So if you ever look at the school report card on OSPI, you'll see that shift. Please also know that the 3rd graders that got the orange 37% in 25-26 were 2nd graders in 24-25. So this is not cohorted data. This is cross-sectional. So the 4th graders that took it this year were 3rd graders last year, but I don't have their 3rd grade data for you. I do have it for high school. But instead of giving you a whole bunch of numbers, just know that this is apples to oranges. When we talk about growth on this slide, we're not comparing the same 3rd graders who are now 4th graders. Okay. At very best, our ELA results are mixed. A term that we use a lot on my side of the desk is uneven. Results are uneven. I have a sense that in the past you've been given a lot of great news, and we've spent a lot of time talking about the celebrations, and there are little celebrations, but there's also quite a bit of urgency and quite a bit of work here that's still represented. So I want to make sure that we meet eyes on that, and I'm very excited to sit with you on September 9th and go through this in a much more scientific way. On the right side, you'll see Granite Falls Middle School. And again, this is not cohorted. These are apples and kiwis and oranges. This is how they performed this year. And then last year, that's how those 6th graders performed. That's how those 7th graders performed, okay? I think the piece that's really important to see here is that we are underperforming against the state drastically. There's hard work being done. And students are moving, but they're also moving up and moving down.
As you look at this too, so I really hear what Emily's trying to say, because not only is it hard to watch or to see cohorts, the test is different between grade levels. So, you know, anybody who does spend a lot of time with assessment and data, and the special educators in the room, Rachel and Carol and I are like, oh, you know, there's a lot to this, but it does matter to look at things like, gosh, our 6th graders in 24-25 were in ELA were 35%, and in 7th grade, they scored at 50%. That's significant, right? Because they were 6th grade the year before. I mean, that's significant growth. But the same things are happening negatively. So I think sometimes that's why I want you to spend some time with this and look at it, and then we can start unpacking, because we have moves that we need to do as a district. That could be the materials, that could be how we deliver, the right people in the right seats. All of those things matter, because The state average is a mediocre bar, in my opinion, as a superintendent. I'm not afraid to say that.
1,000%.
Right?
Yeah.
I have hopes and dreams way beyond the state average, and I know the board does as well. So really just wanted to give this to you and have Emily take a minute, and then let's spend some good time with it on the 9th of September.
So did Granite Falls put this together, or is this the state putting this together?
I put this
Emily,
together.
Everyone, okay,
Yeah,
and,
using obviously the state.
Yeah.
right, so,
And this is using from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So right now is a really interesting time where all of the different dashboards are kind of talking, but they don't grab all of the data. So this is the time of year that I go back to the TIDE interface, which is the testing platform, and I look at the scores directly from them
mhm,
because it's the most accurate, but they're not finalized yet.
Yeah.
The next slide, and again,
Before you go, and I'm so sorry, what I want us to be careful of is the change. Because it's easy to look at, I'll use math in middle school as an example, the bottom right quadrant. And so it's easy to look at this and go, gosh, the -7, oof. But when I look and I go for 7th grade, you might think, what's happening in 7th grade? And I'm like, well, hold on, because last year, the kids, that cohort was at 21%. And so now we have 27%. So there's some actual things happening that are probably good, right, in 7th
is
grade
that
math.
fair to, I thought you were, maybe I misunderstood what you said at the beginning. Is it fair to shift them all one so that you're sort of looking at
You're looking at the same kids.
ish?
Ish.
Yeah.
I mean, the test is a little bit different, but you are looking at
yeah,
generally the
and
same
I
kids.
I think when you look at the state report card and it says, gosh, 7th graders at Granite Falls Middle School were at, 27% of them were at level 3 and 4 in the 25-26 school year. That is a true number.
Mhm.
What the OSPI report card doesn't do is it doesn't cohort. And so that's what you will receive, and then the next slide gives you the high school cohorting, so you can see, because that way you can show incremental growth. If there is incremental growth, you can see it, right? So this is two ways of seeing it, and I know it can be a little bit confusing, but the state allows us to see student growth, but it just looks a little bit different, okay? If you take a look at the next bit, and I apologize for all these numbers, I really do, I promise. All the way across the top where it says cross-sectional, that is the high school, at what you just looked at, so not cohorted. So for instance, in 25-26, 60% of our high schoolers, our 10th graders, scored at level 3 and 4. They took the 34% at level 3 and the 26% at level 4, and they added those together. Okay. Same across the top where it says math cross-sectional. So when we're talking about a change between, say, 58 and 60% between 24 and 25, and 25 and 26 in ELA, those are not the same kids. That's that last year's 10th graders, who are now this year's 11th graders, and this year's 10th graders this year. Now, if you look at the bottom, they are now cohorted. So if you point to the left column and you see cohort grade / year, it says grade 6, 2021-22. So in 2021-22, 45% of 6th graders were scoring at level 1, 30% at level 2, 20% at level 3, and 4% at level 4. Those same 6th graders who were in 6th grade in 2021 and 2022 are now 10th graders in 25-26. So go down to the bottom row of numbers, and you can see that now 14% of those 10th graders are at level 1, 27% are at level 2, and level 3 is at 35, level 4 is at 24. So
And you see the skipped year in there of 24, 25, because that was when they were in 9th grade, when they don't take the SBA.
correct, yeah. So you can see that for math. I know I'm giving you a lot, so I'm gonna pause there and maybe click the pause button until I see you again on September 9th or before. I am certainly happy to answer any questions that you have, but know that right now, my hope is that when we get to September 9th, the results will be finalized and not preliminary. So it might scooch up or down 1% or 2% between now and then, so.
What questions do you have for us as you take this to study it before September 9th?
I've got a few, but I think I'm going to think about them for a second. I think I'll say great work in ELA, getting from 45% at level 1 to 14% at level 1 for the same students over time. I think there's some amazing wins. When I look at the same kind of math, 45% at level 1, still 45 at level 1, 55% at level 1. Now we'll give you a year of not taking the test and we're back at still 45% at level 1. Feels like whatever we're doing, we have to pivot a little bit somehow. I don't know how it is. I don't know what the test looks like. So I have a lot of questions. I mean, it could be anything from maybe the kids don't realize they should care about taking this test, you know, or maybe there's a TikTok trend about how to take this test and just fill in the letter C or something crazy like that. So I don't know, but 45% down it just goes, huh?
Yeah, it is concerning.
But maybe there's some special education stuff, maybe there's some language stuff, except this is math, but then you still say words to teach math, so I don't know. Anyway.
Well, and new math adoption prior to my time here in 22. So different from an ELA conversation where we're 1 year in. By the time our 10th graders took the ELA course, they'd had roughly 6-7 months of new HMH into lit, right? So, but you know, what I would also say too is that in all of these cases, and in everything that we see in terms of numbers, is not just about curriculum. It's about instruction, it's also about culture, it's also about belonging, right? And today, you know, though, I would encourage us to draw a through line to the change of culture that we experienced today, this morning at School of Rock. Super, super proud of our teachers, and so all of these things, you know, but it will be incremental. It will be over time, and I'm super excited to get this more deeply in front of you in a spot where you can mark it up and ask questions. And I would be very happy to show you exactly what it looks like on the dashboards themselves, so that you can see how it all looks and how we build that picture. And the final thing that I would say for Director Ledoux, who for certain is watching from Hawaii right now. I do also have some data to share with you because I know that there is a question about iReady. And I have some data to share with you about the predictability that iReady contains within its platform. When a student is mid or above grade level, it gives us a predictor of how they will do on the SBA. And again, it's pretty uneven. So I'm excited to bring that conversation to you as well, just to kind of either create more questions or answer some questions for you. So, thank you so much.
Thanks, Emily. Okay, we talked a little bit about this, but I want to put this in front of the board, proposed study session to review SBA data on September 9th, and then Marshall alluded to this as well, having Millig here on September 23rd to go over in depth kind of our 4-year plan, but really the review of phase 1, and if we have any questions or if you'd like to hear more about HVAC systems, I'm sure we could do that as well. Never thought I'd talk so much about HVAC systems. There we go. And then lastly, we are just super excited to have our kids back on, if you go to that next slide, Dan, on September 2nd. We have September 2nd, September 3rd, and then a 4-day weekend. It's the first 4 days of school. Of course, we have 4th day count. And so when we were planning the calendar, we knew it was really important to, a lot of kids take that Friday off. A lot of families take a long weekend around a holiday. So we go to school 2 days and then we're back on that Tuesday after Labor Day. Some people had some questions about that, but it's actually several districts are doing that this year because of the way Labor Day falls. It's a little weird. And we wanted to make sure that we got good fourth day count numbers because that's our funding. And so we are just super excited because kids are why we do what we do. So looking forward to next Wednesday in our startup.
Can I ask a first day of school question?
Sure.
Maybe I have to ask this end of the table. Where do the high schoolers get their schedules?
So that was, let me think, the
It
last
already
2
happened.
days. Yeah.
Oh,
The high school,
good to know.
all the students were in yesterday, I'm sorry, today's Wednesday. So yes, Monday and Tuesday. And so they all picked up schedules Monday and
Not
Tuesday.
all of them.
Well,
There's
many.
one. There's one in particular.
Who might be named Connor.
Yeah, that lives at my house, who I asked him, when are you getting your schedules? I don't know. I got it in a text. Can you look it up? Crickets. Now I know.
There you
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Good thing I
maybe
show
that
up. I'm like, I've never had it be this late.
Anything else for Dr. Geisler? Okay. Tony, is there any items from the floor?
Nope.
Okay. Moving on to unfinished business, doesn't look like we have any. So we'll go into new business, and we'll start with resolution 2526-20, transfer of debt services funds. Any questions for Dr. Geisler on that, or
No, let's do it.
Marshall?
Let's buy some bands.
Perfect.
Excited about it.
Well, if there are no questions, I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2526-20, transfer of debt services funds.
I'll second it.
All right, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. B, resolution 2627-01, interdistrict cooperation agreement with other school districts.
This is around our fire science, West Lakewood School District.
No, this is a different one. This is a
Oh,
different one. This is
sorry.
just, routine.
Okay.
Yeah. You're over here.
Later.
Yes,
Sorry,
you have
I was the
later.
wrong
Yes,
one.
yeah. There's a couple
But
of
that's gonna
them.
be really exciting when that happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I have to find it. Where it is.
This be August.
Any questions on this?
I was just curious if we've had any other schools approach us.
We, so Lakewood, has entered into, this agreement with us. We had, some students that were interested from a district that we border with, and that district was not interested in an ILA. So the students would either have to come to Granite or stay in that system.
Well, it's unfortunate for the students.
Because as we've talked about, the snow out program is full, and there's
Yeah.
hundreds and hundreds of kids on waiting lists. So
I would
as we
be
grow this. it will be-
Curious if maybe Darrington or somebody like that would possibly.
Yeah, we reached out to all of our neighboring districts. It'll start this year and have, the numbers we have, and I think it won't be long, and then kids are going to hear about that and go, oh, I will plan on that for my junior and senior year. So we hope to have these agreements, because what it allows is a student who has been in a system like Lakewood to stay there for a part of their day and be here for part of their day and still play sports and still do all the things they want, or whatever they want to do in their home district. So it's pretty cool.
Okay. Any more input? All right, then I'll make a motion that we pass resolution 2627-01, interdistrict cooperative agreement with other school districts.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
I won't even ask for opposed. Okay, resolution 2627-02, intergovernmental cooperative agreement with other school districts.
Similar.
Any-
It's just
any-
year over year agreements.
Okay. Any questions on this one? All right. Well, no questions. I will make a motion that we pass resolution 2627-02, intergovernmental cooperation agreements with other school districts.
No, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 5D, Resolution 262703, Human-Centered Future-Ready Learning Proclamation. And this one here, I'm told I have to read into the minutes. And so if everybody just wants to kick back for a few minutes, I'll do that in between.
Get ready.
All right, so Granite Falls School District number 332, Board of Directors, Resolution number 262703, Human-Centered Future-Ready Learning. Every student, every day, future-ready. Whereas the Granite Falls School District Board of Directors recognizes that technology is an important and powerful tool for teaching, learning, communication, accessibility, creativity, and preparation for college, careers, and life. And whereas being future-ready requires students to develop the knowledge and judgment necessary to use technology, digital information, and emerging tools such as artificial intelligence thoughtfully, responsibly, ethically, and effectively. And whereas research also reinforces the importance of protecting children's opportunities for face-to-face interaction, physical activity, reading, handwriting, creative play, hands-on learning, collaborative, meaningful relationships, and sustained attention. And whereas technology should support excellent instruction, meaningful learning, rather than automatically replace teacher-led instruction, human interaction, physical materials, or experiences that can be accomplished more effectively without a screen. And whereas the district recognizes that children at different developmental stages have different instructional and developmental needs, and that technology technology use should therefore be purposefully age-appropriate, balanced, and responsive to the needs of individual learners. And whereas students must have the opportunity to develop and demonstrate original thinking, including opportunities to write, reason, create, calculate, problem solve, discuss, and generate ideas independently and without assistance from generative artificial intelligence. And whereas students must also learn how to use artificial intelligence and other emergent technologies responsibly, critically, transparently, and effectively as part of preparation for their futures. And whereas Granite Falls School District has taken steps toward a more intentional approach to student devices, including the use of shared classroom device carts at elementary level and classroom-based Chromebooks at the remaining schools that remain at school at the middle school level. And whereas the board supports consistent implementation and enforcement of existing board policy 3245 regarding student telecommunications devices and recognizes the importance of creating learning environments in which students can focus, interact, and fully participate.
One of us to do
Now for there be resolved that the Granite Falls School District Board of Directors affirms its commitment to learning environments that are both human-centered and future-ready. And be it further resolved that the board supports instructional practices that use technology when meaningfully strengthens learning, reduce unnecessary and passive screen use, preserve regular opportunities for handwriting, reading, discussion, collaboration, movement, play, hands-on investigation, and creation. Creation. Provide student opportunities to produce original work and original thinking without artificial intelligence assistance. Explicitly teach responsible, ethical, critical, transparent, and effective use of artificial intelligence and digital tools. Consider students' cumulative exposure to screens throughout the school day. Protect and prioritize face-to-face relationships among students, teachers, staff, family, and peers. Recognize appropriate exceptions for accessibility, special education, language access, assessment, CTE, computer science, and other technology-dependent learning experiences, and continually evaluate whether technology is serving the instructional purpose for which it is being used. Be it therefore resolved that the Board of Directors,
Still further.
the board directs superintendent and staff to develop developmentally appropriate instructional technology recommendations, provide resource and professional learning for educators and families, explore opportunities for intentionally screen-free, human-centered, and hands-on learning experiences throughout the school year, and periodically report to the board regarding implementation, outcome, and emerging research. Be it further resolved that the resolution is intended to establish the board's direction and values regarding instructional technology while allowing educators to exercise professional judgment and ensuring that individual students' needs, accessibility requirements, and appropriate instructional use of technology continues to be supported. The Granite Falls School District believes that preparing students for the future requires more than giving them access to technology. It requires teaching them when to use it, how to use it, and why to use it. And when the best tool is another person, a pencil, a book, their hands, or their own thinking, every student, every day, future ready. And this will be adopted by the Board of Directors of Granite Falls School District number 332 at this meeting. So with that read into the minutes, the motion just, oh yes, I guess we should have a discussion on it. I apologize.
appreciate
It's so long.
I'm gonna give you a minute to just catch your breath.
Oh, go ahead. No, I'll catch my breath while you talk.
That was super long. It was single spaced. So we of course saw this, but Greg did not. He was on vacation, but we saw this a couple weeks ago. Yeah, at the study session, or at the offsite. And the one thing that I asked, and so I just want to sort of mention it here, and I don't know, I think having a direction to the superintendent feels very formal and unnecessary, I think. But we talked about just adding this to the school board calendar where it says we're going to periodically report. Yes, we're putting it in writing that we're going to periodically report, but we didn't say if that was once a decade, once a year, twice a year, whatever. So whatever it is that we decide that's going to be, and I think we talked about SIP plans maybe as a possible logical place for it to land. So I just kind of wanted to put that out for the record that the conversation happened, that maybe the SIP plan is the place, the school improvement plan is the place to keep ourselves accountable to this, and to say, not only did we take all the air in Bill salons tonight, but we're very serious about, as we look at kids, that when we were out of school during COVID, and you've got these kids that were in kindergarten and first grade, and they weren't using pencils, they were using Chromebooks, and now they're how old? And have you seen their handwriting?
Yes.
It's not good anyway. And there's more and more research that backs up, like just even being able to interpret people's emotions off their facial expressions. We have a generation that can't. And so we need to go back to where we know we were doing better in that. And I think it makes sense. There's plenty of research that says countries in Europe that have made the switch back are performing better. We want to be like that. So yeah, thank you. That's all.
Anything else?
No, but I find it ironic. I was on my vacation and had a young gentleman in front of me that didn't know how to write his signature, and he had his first credit card. And that was kind of mind-boggling.
Yeah.
All right.
I remember I used to practice my signature. I had all kinds of different ways I was gonna do it. I was pretty proud of it. So, yeah.
All right, well, without further discussion, I would like to make a motion that we adopt resolution number 262703, human-centered, future-ready learning.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And then 5E, first reading and second reading to adopt field trip policy 2320. And I just want to make a note that this is just, it's a very slim page, but it's specific about the policy and not the procedure. The procedures pages or document is 7 to 8 pages long. We want to make sure that the board is recognizing the policy and that we are mandating that our student or our schools follow the procedure that's put through by the administration. So any discussion on this?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course there is. I spent the time reading it. No, I had 2 questions that I sent ahead of time. So one of them was, because I work in cybersecurity, it just happens to be, I noticed the URL said that it was policy 2330 and the policy is numbered 2320. Turns out 2320 is the correct number, so that's good. The second thing, and I think it's important, it normally would just be like, oh, it's just a word, but this is a word that matters to me. So I'm going to bring it up for the discussion. In the table for the policy, there's type 1 same day in-state field trips, which are approved by the principal or program manager. And then there's overnight field trips or out-of-state field trips, international travel. And it says approval by principal, program or program managers or designee, and approval by the school board. But I did not see superintendent in there. And I don't want it to be misinterpreted that a principal could come directly to the board without going to the superintendent first. So I would like to propose that we, right before that word designee, put in superintendent / designee, right before approval by board of directors.
I think that's appropriate.
I do too.
Yeah, that's it.
And so can we pass this?
With the,
We can amend.
yeah, with the amendment, yeah.
Yeah, so with that, I'll make a motion that we approve policy 2320,
First and second reading.
first and second reading as amended.
Okay, I'll second that.
We've got a motion and a second and a second. So all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. In the end, consent agenda is up next. Is there any additions to the consent agenda?
No.
Okay, so consent agenda as listed. Are there any questions or discussions regarding the consent agenda?
No, I noticed that Eric, who was the director,
Yeah,
will be working in the fire department program, so
Yes.
that's exciting.
Thought that was nice.
Just wanted to congratulate him.
And looking at the personnel report and the new hires, there was a couple of names I recognized that I was glad to see we hired.
all right. Well, without further discussion, this consent agenda passes with unanimous consent. And with that said, we will adjourn the meeting at 7:08.